Hi, my name is Swati. Today I'll present a homework one, that is serial C program. So the main task here is to show that the standard deviation lowers as the array is smooth. So this is my code, and here I have done some hand calculations so that I can explain every functions easily. So initially I have called the standard libraries for C. Then the first function that is told to implement is random array that takes array size and scale as input. So here in this example, you can see that it will take some random array with the predefined scale. Like if you define the scale from 1 to 100, it will take some values from 1 to 100 random values, and size is 5. So the second function will basically calculate the sum, and here you can see that we have first initialized the total as 0, and then we have done some iteration that will run until it fulfill the size, and it will calculate the total, and finally it will return the total sum. So here you can see that it has initialized, and for iteration 0 it will calculate the total sum and so on. So after total 5 iterations, it will return the final total sum, which is 160 in this case. And the third function which is told to implement is standard deviation, which will take array and size as input. So initially I have just double checked whether the array size is 1 or less than 1. In that case it will get some error like division by 0. So I have checked that, and then finally it will calculate the mean value. So like you can see that if for mean value it will call the sum function that we have implemented earlier, and it will take array and size as the input argument and divided by size. So after doing this, it will finally get the value 32 as mean. So here in this step we have done that, and finally we will get calculate the variance, which is yeah, initially defined as 0, and finally it will calculate for I equal to 0 to I less than size. For this loop, it will calculate the variance for every value, and finally it will sum all the values. So it will provide you like a total variance value, and then we will calculate sample variance. For sample variance, we will calculate the total variance divided by size minus 1. So using this formula, we will get sample variance value, which is 370 for this example. And finally we will calculate the standard deviation value, which is square root of variance, and finally doing this we will get this standard deviation value. The fourth function is smooth, which will take again array size and w. W is basically the weight. So here I have provided equal weight to every value, that is 0.5 for this example. And here you can see that I have allocate a temporary array to store the original values, and I have copied this to a temporary variable, because you can see that in the equation it will, when it will calculate the new value, it needs to its previous value and its next value. But for the first value, you can see that there is no previous value, and for the last value there is no next value. So we will exclude this first and last value, and we will calculate the new value for the middle values. So we need to store all the values so that it can capture the first and last value. And finally, using this formula, we will calculate for iteration 1 or value 40, we will calculate the new value. So instead of 40, after calculating the new value, it will be 27.5, and for iteration 2 it will be 35, and for iteration 3 it will be 42.5. So this was the original array, and after smoothing, this is the updated array. So this is what we have done in our four functions. And then finally I have just showed using using some example like for an example array size 5 and scale like 0 to 1 and weight is 0 0.5. And finally I have allocated memory for the data array, and then I have called the previous functions that we have basically defined, like random array, then standard deviation, smooth array, smooth function, etc. And finally we will run this. So I have used while, so that it will show if there is any warning, and minus lm basically used it because I have used include math.h. If I do not use this command, it will show error for yeah, for importing math standard library. And finally, after using this command, this is how it is compiling, and finally after running I have got this output. So you can see that this is the original array, and this is the original standard deviation, and after smoothing of iteration 1, this is the array. So you can see that first and last value are same and middle values have changed, and this is the standard deviation after one iteration. So you 0.2082, it reduced to 0.0479, and again after iteration 2 it has again reduced to 0.0379, and after iteration 3 it has again reduced to 0.0370. So this is what we are told to implement. Thank you.